What's up, guys? Zach Reininger. Today I'm shooting a video because I want to run through a little bit of data that we have from different various industry associations that have shared data, and I want to kind of walk you through it, show you what the data is showing for our industry, kind of give some, speculation on what direction I think it's heading. But also I want to share something after we run through this that really shocked me about our industry. I was not expecting this, and I'll talk about that in just a minute. But in the meantime, let's dive right into some data so that I can help explain kind of what we're seeing in the market right now. I'm going to share my screen with you here. What we're looking at right here, so this is our towable, our retail registration data for towable RVs. And so what we're looking at here is September of 2022. So September of 2022, this is the latest data we have. In another week or so, we should be able to see the October data, and I can do an updated video for you. But I wanted to get this out there because I think it's important for everybody to see this stuff. So what we're seeing, there's a couple things we want to look at. First is going to be right here. This is going to be the percent change for the month of September over last year, September. So here are the numbers. And what we're seeing is a 22% drop in retail sales. And what this means is these are retail sales at your stores to customers. So this is what is actually being registered and sold to the public. Down 22% for all recreational vehicles other than motorhomes. So this doesn't tally in any motorhomes. This is all towables here, guys. Down 22%, excuse me. Then we're down 23.5% for the year. So the full year of 2022 up until September compared to September 2021. For the year, we're down 23.5%. So let's come down here to break it out where we're going to look at travel trailers. So this is specifically travel trailers for the month of September, seeing a drop of 18.6%. So for the year, we're over here at 22% drop. So, but the September number is actually below the year average drop, which means September was a pretty good year for travel, or pretty good month for travel trailers. So travel trailers look like they're holding up pretty well. Now, keep in mind, guys, when we're talking about this year versus last year, you've got to remember something. Last year was the greatest year ever in the history of the RV industry. More retail sold than ever. The history of the RV industry. So to see something like this, while the number may look large when you first look at it on paper, 22%, data-wise, when you really take a step back, that is not a huge dip considering how massive of an increase we saw last year to compare it to. So keep that in mind when we're looking at some of these numbers. Now let's jump into fifth wheels. So here's fifth wheels for September of 2022, and this surprised me a little bit, guys. 34.7%, almost a 35% drop in September. Down 29% for the year. And the reason this surprised me is because I guess in my mind, I would think of most of our fifth wheel customers as being a little bit more financially qualified. Traditionally, they're going to be a little bit older, and they're not as prone to, being as sensitive to like the fluctuations in gas prices, the fluctuations in interest rates, and all those things that are happening out there. So I sort of expected fifth wheels, especially going into fall, which is typically a very good fifth wheel season. I thought this might be a little bit more resilient. Now, my interpretation of this could be perhaps what we see with this is this customer being a little bit more older. Typically, maybe they have a higher net worth or a little bit more invested, and they've seen their investments come down. Maybe they are feeling more nervous than others out there. Not quite sure. I'm making assumptions here, and those are dangerous because what do? They make an ass out of you and me. So we'll try and avoid jumping to too many conclusions. I just wanted to point it out that I thought that number was interesting. Let's dive into camping trailers, which are pop-ups. And there's a little bit of a bright spot here, guys. Look at that. Up 2.3% for September. For the year, down 14.5%. So I guess I would say that pop-ups are actually, numbers-wise, looking the healthiest out of anything, which I can concur with that. I've seen that with our product, with the Flagstaff pop-ups. Staying pretty resilient out there. Customers are coming out and looking for it. Great price points, easy to tow. You can tow it with kind of anything. So I think that's drawing some people in. Very low-hanging fruit for first-time buyers. Now, when we're looking at this, I want to jump over and show you something else. So this is all the retail sold reports. So this is what's selling on your lots. Let's come over and look at this. This is going to be RV shipments. So what that means is these are the units that are tracked, that are made by manufacturers and shipped to dealerships. So when we're looking at this through October, now remember, this was through September. We do not have the October data yet. So this is going to be a month ahead of the retails. Hopefully I'll have that in the next week, like I said, and we can do an updated video here. But check this out. We are seeing total RV shipments as a decrease of 43.7%. 43.7%. Now, this is going to factor in motorhomes. So I'm going to scroll down just a little bit here. We're going to look at towables, down 48.3% versus last October. Okay, almost 50% drop in manufacturing shipments to dealers. Now, let's come down here and look at this again. This is wholesale RV shipments. So we're going to look at, this is October 21st, October 22nd, and this is going to compare this year versus last year. Travel trailers down almost 48%. Fifth wheels down almost 54%. You see our little pop-ups there holding strong. Look at those tent campers, not doing bad. So all towable RVs down 48%. What did we say over here when we look at all recreational vehicles, all towables? Down 23%, right? Year to date, 23. So over a double drop compared to retails in shipments from manufacturers. If you're curious, here's some data on the motorhome side. Motors are up 4.1%. That's not shocking for a lot of you. You know, the chassis shortages, chip shortages, motorhomes, they couldn't get enough production, so it's not shocking to see them about level or even up from last year. I will caution, I do think that these numbers are going to balance out very quickly for them. I think they will be able to get more production faster, and I think that we're going to see those numbers plateauing off from the manufacturing side. So that's the data that I wanted to show to you guys here. Is year to date we're down 14.2% year over year for shipments, which means we have a discrepancy, right? We've overproduced the market. Year to date we're down 23. We're only down 14% in shipments year to date. So what does this all mean? This is great. Lots of numbers, a lot of data. What does this mean? Well, what I would tell you when I look at these numbers, and this is what shocks me, is we're seeing the trend down on the manufacturing sides significantly, down 48% production to dealers in October. And this is what shocked me, is I am actually, in a positive way, very impressed with our industry. I'm very, very appreciative, and I'm very impressed to see how hard and how quickly the manufacturing side of our business pulled the reins back. Any other time we've faced things like this, usually, and I've talked about it a lot, right? You know, all through COVID, everybody's so excited about what's happening. Oh man, we can sell everything that we're building. It's great. And the whole time I just kept cautioning. I'm like, never underestimate our industry's ability to screw up a good thing. We will go from zero inventory to running too hot for too long, overproduce, and end up right back in the same position where we built too much stuff. And we did that. But what we're seeing in this data is the manufacturers are being much more responsible. We're pulling back harder and faster than I've ever seen us adjust to the market before. And I'm very glad to see this, because now this is going to give dealer inventories an opportunity to balance out, you know, fluctuate in through the winter, and then as we come into spring, balance all this out. So we've pulled back so hard that it's going to alleviate the pressure in the market. Now, what does this mean? We have a couple other things that we have to factor in here. So one thing is there's still a lot up in the air around the hurricane that hit Florida, the FEMA orders that are potentially coming in, which could be in the tens of thousands of units. And what that could mean is that some of the inventory in the field that needs to go away could get absorbed into that FEMA program. At that rate, along with the massive pullback that we've seen from the manufacturing side, we will reach a very quick equilibrium of production and retail demand in the field. I would say in the next couple of months. It's going to be very brand specific, obviously. I think a lot of these big jumps that we saw in production and shipment numbers, which give the, let's jump back over here real quick. Like you look at October of last year, we shipped 53,000 towable RVs last year. That's a huge number. Year to date last year, we shipped 463,000 units. Year to date this year, we're not even at 400,000. So that was a massive number. What gets skewed in this is, excuse me, guys. There were a lot of brands that shouldn't have been being able to build. Pardon me, allergies. Damn, I am sorry. They shouldn't have been being able to build the numbers that they were building. And this comes back to the participation trophy side that I've talked about. If somebody had capacity in their plant, let's say the plant they own had the capacity to build 20 a day. They only had retail demand to build 5 a day. Well, they could fill that plant to 15 more a day very easily and very quickly. Now, the other brands out there that didn't have the excess capacity, our brand was one of them where we were already maxed out in our facilities. So when demand, quadruples, we couldn't quadruple our production overnight. So what I think you're going to see with this data is some of those weaker brands are going to revert back to their old level, if not fall below that, because I think dealers want to partner with brands that they know are good. They're here for the longevity. They build good product. Customers like them. Customers are happy. We're going to see this balance out in a totally different manner, in my opinion. And I think it's going to be very interesting to see kind of how this goes. But there's going to be certain brands that rise to the top. Same with dealerships. There's certain dealerships that are navigating this okay, and there's others that are not. And unfortunately for some people, it's because maybe they haven't seen this before. They haven't seen an adjustment before, so they don't know how to navigate, how to manage inventory, and how to do these things. And I wanted to share this data to show you kind of what's happening. First of all, retail's still been really good this year. This is, it's going to be, probably a top 3 year ever in the history of the industry for retail sales. Now, when it normalized quick. You all know that. It happened on the lots. It paused people out. But I still believe customers still want to go camping. People still want to go spend time with their families. This is not going away. We are only going to come out of all this stronger. This is going to be a healthy purge of bad inventory, bad habits, bad production, bad quality. This is going to be a net positive for our retail customers, which means it's a net positive for us because when they're having a better experience, we're all going to do better. So the data is showing we have hit the brakes harder to the tune of twofold of what retails are pulling back. So we're pulling back way harder than retails are, which is a positive. We still have a little bit of time to go to balance this all out. FEMA could come in and really change the game for some dealers out there as far as, pulling out the bad inventory and taking some of that off their lots, which would really level this out. And what I think that means is that we could potentially get back to a very consistent level of production in 2023, which will make it healthy for everybody. Well, no lead times. There won't be as much up and down with production shutdowns based on, dealers don't have room. They don't have dollars. They don't know what's happening. They've got too much of the wrong stuff, so they can't bring in the good stuff. There's going to be a little bit more of this through the winter here, but I'm optimistic. I'm very optimistic. I'm super optimistic about our industry when we take a long-term view, especially the next 5 to 10 years. My God, guys, our industry, the growth that we had and the grassroots, organic growth that is going to come out of this, do not underestimate this. And do not take a 6 to 8 month window of time after the greatest boom we've ever seen and an adjustment back to a normalized market as it being bad. It's not bad. This industry is so resilient. It's so awesome. It's over 100 years old. We've seen this before. We've been through it. And this is the fastest I have ever seen our side react. So I am super bullish. I feel tons of confidence about what's going on, the direction we're heading. There's still uncertainty. There's still stuff with the Fed. But guess what? It's still good. Do not let anything get into your head. Do not let the negativity get into your head. Continue to chip away. Do what you can do. If you need help, reach out. I'm here to help. I'm happy to do whatever I can to connect you with the right people, get you training. Even if you don't sell my product, I will help you. Okay? I'll connect you to the best trainers in the world. I have personal relationships with them. I have trained with them. I will help you. So if this message has been helpful, please share it with your team. Please share it on your Facebook, your Instagram. Like, subscribe. I will continue to provide content for you guys so that you can know what's going on out there. You can make better decisions, and you can stay informed and make logical choices. Look forward with logic rather than emotion. We're all guilty of it. I'm just trying to help us all navigate through this. So thank you so much for watching. I love you guys. Keep kicking ass out there.